You know, in the world of PC gaming, something big is happening. And I'm not talking about a new graphics card or some huge new game. This is different. It's a fundamental shift, a migration really, that could totally change how you play. And it all seems to be pointing towards one specific year, 2026.
So let's just get right to it. Are we finally, actually on the cusp of the long-prophesied year of the Linux desktop for gamers? I mean, for years, it's been this running joke, right? But with Microsoft officially pulling the plug on Windows 10 support in late 2025, the joke's about to stop being funny because the clock is ticking.
11%. Just think about that number for a sec. For ages, Linux market share on gaming platforms like Steam, you were lucky if it cracked 2%, so this isn't just a little bump.
And look, this number isn't just pulled out of thin air from some random survey. This is straight from Steam's own hardware report. That's the gold standard, right? It tells you what millions and millions of PC gamers are actually using. It's undeniable proof that something real is happening. So, what's causing this massive shift?
Well, it's kind of like any classic migration story, really. You've got these push factors, things that are driving gamers away from where they're comfortable. And then you've got the pull factors, things that are drawing them to this new frontier. So, let's start with the push.
It really all boils down to this thing we're calling the Windows squeeze. You've got that big 2025 deadline breathing down everyone's neck. The good old, reliable Windows 10, well, it's living on borrowed time. And what's the alternative? A future of forced updates, weird intrusive features, and these super strict, often totally unnecessary hardware requirements. Gamers are just stuck right in the middle, and honestly, a lot of them are looking for the emergency exit.
All right. So if that's the big push away from Windows, what's the pull? What's drawing people in? Well, for these Windows refugees, as some are calling them, the destination isn't just about escaping. It offers a promise, and that promise is all about raw, unfiltered performance.
And if you want to see that promise in action, you don't have to look any further than a distro like Kachi OS. Now, this thing is built on the legendary Arch Linux, which, if you know, you know. It means it's incredibly lean, super lightweight. We're talking no bloatware, no background junk stealing your precious resources. It's an OS that's been tuned from the ground up for one thing and one thing only: speed.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't just a marketing fluff. This quote comes from a project that really put Kachi OS through its paces in a super demanding situation, hosting a high-performance Minecraft server. And what they're saying here is that they achieved elite, industry-leading performance while being incredibly efficient. That's a huge claim.
But what does industry-leading actually mean in real terms? Let's break it down and look at the hard data from that optimized server. We're going to start with a metric called median server performance time, or MSPT. Basically, it's how fast the server can think.
1.25 milliseconds. Seriously, that is insanely fast. It means the server is reacting almost instantly. For any online game, it doesn't matter if you're hosting it or just playing on it. Latency this low? Man, that's the holy grail.
And then there's this, 20.0 ticks per second. Now, in the world of Minecraft servers, 20 is the max. It's literally a perfect score. It means that server simulation is running absolutely flawlessly. No lag, no stutter, even when it's getting hammered with a heavy load.
So how is this even possible? Well, it's not magic. It's all about control. It's about using a custom kernel, that's the core engine of the OS, to intelligently prioritize game tasks above everything else. It's about containerizing the server to make it more efficient and tuning every single little component for the exact hardware it's running on. This is the kind of deep, granular optimization that Windows just doesn't let you do.
Okay, so the performance is clearly there. It's a beast. But now, it's time for a reality check. We have to talk about the single biggest hurdle for any gamer who's thinking about making the switch: competitive multiplayer and the whole war on cheating. And look, this is where we have to be totally honest. Thanks to amazing tools like Proton from Valve, thousands and thousands of games, including a lot of huge AAA titles, they run perfectly on Linux. Sometimes even run better than on Windows. But the story isn't perfect.
Yeah, the breakdown is pretty clear. Systems like BattlEye and Easy Anti-Cheat, they can work, but the game developers themselves have to flip a switch to enable it, and thankfully many of them have. The real problem, the big wall you run into, is with these super invasive kernel-level anti-cheats like Riot's Vanguard and Ricochet from Call of Duty. They demand a level of access to your system that just fundamentally clashes with Linux's security model, and the result? Games like Valorant and Call of Duty are just unplayable. For a lot of gamers, this is the line in the sand.
But okay, let's go back to that idea of control for a second. Because for the thousands of games that do work,
Linux gives you the tools to optimize your hardware in ways you could only dream of on Windows.
And the best part? You don't have to be some command line genius to do it anymore. The community has created these incredible tools, like this all-in-one automation script, that are designed to handle all that complex tuning for you.
And just look at what that kind of automation makes possible. We're not just talking about tuning your GPU for gaming. This script sets up a complete power user environment for development, for running local AI models, for pretty much anything you can think of. It takes what would be hours of tedious setup and just condenses it into one single powerful action.
And all that power, the GPU tuning, the developer tools, the system fixes, all of it is unlocked with just 3 simple commands. This is what modern Linux is all about. Yeah, the complexity is still under the hood, but the community has made it incredibly easy to actually harness that power.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. You've got the push from Windows, you've got the pull of insane performance, and you've got the hard reality of anti-cheat. So, what's the final verdict for a gamer who's facing this choice come 2026?
When you get right down to it, it boils down to this one big trade-off. On one side of the scale, you have this incredible, unparalleled performance, total control over your machine, and freedom from Microsoft's walled garden. But on the other side, you've got the very real chance of losing access to your favorite competitive shooter, and yeah, you're going to have to be willing to learn a new way of interacting with your PC.
So in the end, the decision really comes down to what kind of gamer you are. I mean, if you live and breathe games like Valorant or Call of Duty, then the answer is probably no, at least not yet. But if you're someone who really values performance, control, and freedom, and your favorite games are supported, then yeah, 2026 might just be the year you join the Great Migration. The only question left is, what will you choose?